Hey everybody, Mr. Schmidt here. Hope you're having a good Wednesday. Just a reminder that your midterms went in today. Not a big deal. They were only based on 3 evaluations. Those did not include either of your synthesis papers. And this week, what we're really working on is your essay writing. Many of you have submitted your thesis and you're getting feedback today. So I thought I'd just make this video because some people are already making some big mistakes, and really this is kind of like the main skill you're trying to develop. So I'm going to mark it particularly with particular attention to detail. So the first thing I need you to know is that you can't just make up your own topic. I did state that several times before this, but some people are still just making up topics. There are 3 topics that you're supposed to use to think of a thesis and then follow up with an essay. So they're all found in Unit 3, Activity 3, and they're fairly generic and can be applied to almost any narrative. Probably not any narrative, but they are all appropriate. So topic 1 is about sacrifice. Select a character that has deliberately sacrificed, surrendered, or forfeited something in a way that highlights that character's values. Topic 2 is about cruelty. In a well-developed essay, analyze how cruelty functions in your text as a whole and what cruelty reveals about the perpetrator and or victim. So you have a choice that you can focus on either the victim or the perpetrator, or write a little bit about both. So you can structure that several ways. And then the third one is many works of literature contain a character who intentionally deceives others. Choose a character in your text, then in a well-written essay for that character's deception, and discuss how the deception contributes to the meaning of the work as a whole. So for any essay question you get, the question is particularly important in structuring, and that's going to be really important in university when you get these questions and you're asked to structure things. So I just want to give you a clear way to approach a thesis. 1, look at the keywords in the question. So I'm just going to take one example. In the question of sacrifice, there are several keywords that you're going to have to figure out. Okay, so it says here, select a character that has deliberately sacrificed, surrendered, or forfeit something in a way that highlights that character's values. So the 2 questions you're asking yourself is A, what is the major sacrifice that person made, or what are the major sacrifices they made? How do you define sacrifice? How do we know it's a sacrifice? And then what does this say about the person? And when we talk about values, what are we talking about here? Are we talking about their ethical code? Are we talking about, what their integrity is? You're going to have to come up with some sort of way of characterizing what values means, because they're kind of broad words, okay? And these will be the basis of how you write your thesis statement. So you make sure your thesis statement answers the question by making sure that you include specific examples of the sacrifice, because that's what it asked for, and an analysis of how sacrifice relates to values, right? Many of you have been taught to kind of write a 3-point essay, right? And that's for 3 topic sentences. And that works really well to structure your thesis, because in a sentence, you can kind of always write a compound sentence with 3 little clauses in it, right? And then also the reason it works really well is because the 3rd step to writing your thesis is to make sure that it provides enough structure to match with your topic sentences. So it's almost like when I read your thesis, I know what your topic sentences are. Not quite, because they're not quite as detailed, but I get the general sense of how your argument is going to be structured, okay? So work hard on this. I will give you lots of feedback. If you already got feedback, you can always resubmit the thesis, and I will give you more feedback on it. I know the essay is due shortly, but you don't have to really worry about that as a hard deadline. And as long as it's in by the end of the weekend or Monday, that will be fine. I have plenty of time to mark it. The important thing is to if you get the thesis writing right and you structure your paper right, will be almost impossible to not get a good mark on your essay. Whereas if you do not structure your paper properly and your thesis does not address the question, it will be almost impossible to get a good mark on your paper. So this is where you need to spend your energy right now. It's Wednesday to Friday. You should